wanted to answer this one with a video for sure. Some of the techniques that I use for my kids and helping them remember that they can do this stuff on their own and how powerful they are. Like say my 7-year-old, when she comes up to me and she's got a stomach ache, the very first thing that I do is I have her put her hand on her solar plex, and if the pain gets worse, it belongs to her. If the pain gets less, it belongs to somebody else. So if the pain gets worse, then we go into what's the spiritual meaning behind it. Oh my goodness. Well, I happen to know that the spiritual meaning of stomach pain is fear. So we have a discussion of what she's afraid of. Once we address that, then the pain subsides. It goes away. And then she knows that the issue has been healed and she can walk through the process of healing things herself. You can look up spiritual meaning of physical ailments and illness on Google. Part that's really important for helping my kids remember how magical they are is simply listening to them and asking them spiritual questions. My daughter, Cade, she's 12, and when I do my past life sessions, all of a sudden she'll look over at me and be like, yeah, that person got, chopped with a machete. And I'll be like, oh, for real? Damn. And I'll help the person look in, and yeah, they're chopped with a machete. Like, listening to your kids and understanding that what they're talking about is not imagination, it is intuition. Listening to them, believing them, asking them questions about what they're seeing and what they're experiencing is a big part in helping them step into who they are and their spiritual gifts. Even my 2-year-old helps me with spiritual gifts. She'll come over to me and she'll say eyes, nose, mouth, eyes, nose, mouth. And I don't just say I'm busy. I go, okay, guys, there's something about eyes, nose, and mouth that we need to look at. And there tends to actually be something we need to look at. Daughter Jade was 3 years old. She was seeing spirits, even though I couldn't see them. It was one of the parts of helping me open up to my spiritual gifts. And I would do the basic stuff with her, like she'd say, see the tree, and I'd go, I see the tree, babe. And she'd say, see the dog. I'd say, I see the dog. She'd say, see the girl. I couldn't. So I would say, oh, you see a girl? What's the girl? Is the girl happy? Is she sad? And then Jade would answer, she's sad, sad. And we would continue the conversation about this. I didn't just write it off as if it was nothing. I didn't show a lot of fear either. I simply took it for what it was, helped her investigate it further, helped her to express herself. She also used to astral project, so I encouraged her and learned more about it for myself on how she could interpret this and integrate it into her life. She would visit people's dreams and be able to co-create a dream with them. Part of it was, again, with my 12-year-old, she's an artist, and I would ask her to channel, to draw what she saw, like if she saw a person or whatever, I would say, oh, draw it. And when she would draw it, I would ask my friends, or since I do past life work, I was able to kind of connect it to who it was. And she would draw some of my spiritual friends because she has a lot of past lives with them as well. That was another way to step her into herself and realize that what she's seeing is real. It gave her validation, and it also encouraged her to be her authentic true self with art. Speaking of that, letting them be their authentic true self without the fear of judgment of what society might say. Remember to teach them that there is rules and politeness to follow, but to be their true authentic self is super magical. Big thing is to respect their own spiritual and religious views, even if they don't match yours. So even if you're consider yourself more spiritual and they want to go to church, let them go to church. What harm is it going to do? And have an open discussion about that. I actually let them go to church when they were younger, and I kept a lot of my views to myself because I was so stuck in this place of like, I don't want to force my views on them. And then I realized my views were not even being heard by them. So they had no understanding or concept of how I saw the world. So I started to open up and have communication with them about such things. And it created a really good dialect. And we have discussions on viewpoints on politics, on religion, on sexuality, on addiction. We openly speak on all of this, and there's no topic that's taboo or honestly, the very best thing you can do to help your children remember that they're magical is remember that you are magical. The raindrop starts here and it ripples out, and it gives them a safe space for them to become magical as well and remember who they are. The more we heal ourselves, the more that our family and our friends and our society and our community are able to heal as well. We're all one, we're all connected. So the best way is to heal within, heal your trauma. I used to yell at my kids a lot. I had to heal that trauma, and now I don't yell at them like that anymore. There's a lot. There's a lot of healing that I had to do for myself, and once I did, it created a safe space that was able to address the trauma that they had suffered before I had done my healing, and it was better for all of us. Yeah, that's the very best thing you can do is heal yourself. Parenting and being a single mom. I have 2 baby daddies and 3 kids. I take care of the kids full time, all 3 of them. I have a 13-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 3-year-old. The 13-year-old and the 8-year-old's father was one of my best friends, but we shouldn't have been married. As I'm more spiritual, he is Christian. He doesn't respect pronouns. He doesn't respect identity. And him and his wife, even though very nice, very sweet people, are kind of like, this is my house, you follow my rules kind of people. So, he's supposed to have my 2 older kids every weekend. My kids don't like to go there all the time. So he recently reached out and said, hey, something he's never done before. He said, hey, legally, I'm supposed to have the kids 50-50. And I said, well, I'm not going to force them to go anywhere they're not comfortable. So the choice of seeing your kids is completely up to you. Build a relationship with them. Don't see them as possessions or pets or belongings that you are entitled to custody of. Instead, build a relationship with them. I will take them anywhere that they feel comfortable. Every time they want to see you, I drive them there. I have no issues with it. And then he said, well, I guess I'm going to have to see you in court, which I never thought he would ever say. And I went, hey, buddy, you do what you got to do. I support you in your decision. I've always been on your side. It's really a simple solution. Just get to know them better. And after that conversation, that simple text, he calmed down, he looked at it, and he went ahead and had a really great conversation with my 13-year-old and with the 8-year-old, and took the 8-year-old shopping for clothes that they liked instead of like rainbows and sparkles and stuff, and is building a relationship with them. So I stood my ground, but I was still very respectful, and everything went well with that dad. So that's the first. Second dad, the dad of the 3-year-old, has never been in their life, really. For the past year or so, they would spend like 30 minutes with them maybe on the weekends, like they'd come over or whatever. Since September, they had been picking them up from daycare 2 times a week and then taking them all day on Sunday. But that's the first time in like 3.5 years. But they were doing that since September. He actually is respectful of pronouns and identities and things like this, but not really. Without a clinical definition, his diagnosis from definition on the internet would be similar to psychopath. So it was all fake. It was all fake. He tries to weaponize the baby and makes a big deal as if he wants to see her and he wants to set a schedule. But if we set a schedule, he will not be available 5 minutes before, even if I calmly state it needs to be a week in advance, whatever. I was with him for 6 years, but I found out that was a whole lie. But the point of the matter with this one is he's not in the baby's life, and the baby doesn't know because he was never there the whole life. So even though he's not around, she has so much love that she barely even asks for him. He wanted a battle. He wanted a fight. He wanted energy exchange with me, and I refused to give it to him. And I don't need his help. So instead of worrying about him not giving me help, I just kind of focus on the fact that I never really needed him, so I'm good. And she has no lack of love, so she's good. And when it comes to the legal stuff with him, I might go down that route, but I prefer not to. But it's different with her. It's different with this guy too. So there's that story. The point of this is whether you're a single parent with no communication to an ex, or you're a single parent with an ex that isn't conducive to your life, that's why they're an ex. Or maybe you're in a relationship and you have an ex that's not conducive to your life. You don't have to battle. You don't have to make it a big deal. It doesn't have to be messy. If it is still messy, if it is, then I need you to look inside yourself and see if you still have an emotional attachment to the ex. What are they doing that triggers an emotion inside of you? So even if you're legally divorced or separated or whatever, are you emotionally divorced or separated from them? I'm not saying forgive and forget at all. I'm saying do whatever you need to do to be okay alone or be okay without them. My biggest thing with my ex-husband, the older two's dad, is that I was still emotionally entangled in the fact that I wanted to stay friends with him. And I would try to mediate between him and his kids, which isn't my place. I'm not his partner. He has a wife. It's not my place to mediate the way that I was. I can help every once in a while, but I had to separate myself and go, okay, what part of me is hurt that we're not friends anymore? And I needed to heal that so that we could co-parent efficiently and effectively in the way of we don't need to talk. We don't need to be best buddies, but we don't fight either. He parents his way, I parent my way, and the kids have... I'm very big on full body autonomy in every sense of the word. The kids decide where they want to go and what they want to do and who they want to be with, but it's not a choose between kind of situation. It's literally like, we're cool no matter what. We're cool no matter what. We're just happy you're here. So that helped a lot. With my youngest, my third child, that one's really easy. If you have someone who's an absentee parent in your life, it's just not around at all. If you focus on the fact that you're doing it alone, if you focus on the fact that they were never there, if you focus on whatever the fuck, you are literally just focusing on the lack. And in that aspect, you're still emotionally attached to them as well because you're emotionally affected by their absence. You were letting their absence have control over you, so you were still emotionally in a relationship with them. You're still energy entangled with them. And you're also providing a place where your child feels the lack of a parent as well. So, if you can get to the root of what exactly is affecting you about it, did you feel abandoned? Do you feel like the weight of the world's on your shoulders? Do you feel like the pressure of a child deserves to have their mom or their dad in their life, blah, blah, blah. All of these things, there are soul fragments connected to those, and there are soul contracts that you can release in return as well. I'll write those on the screen here. And also, I want you to think about the inner child root of all of that, or the past life root of all of that. And that you can get to with this. And there's more steps to help you with that in my link tree. And also some of my playlists. But yeah, no matter what your situation is with an ex, being a single parent, being in a relationship, being in the house with the person is even harder. You can still use the steps in this video, but it's still a different circumstance. If you can get to the point where you are no longer emotionally affected by the presence or absence of a person, then you're golden. And you'll be the best parent you could even imagine. And some keywords, if you're not sure if you're over them or not, if you go, I don't give a fuck about blah, 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 then you're not over them. And it doesn't mean that you want them. It just means that there's an energy entanglement and you're still in the relationship molecularly, quantum entanglement ways. Okay, I hope this helps. Bye. I got the opportunity to work with this young lady named Kacie and her 7-year-old son named Travis. Travis has had some issues the past couple of weeks, maybe even longer. He sees monsters in his room. He is not liking the dark. He's having some bedwetting issues and a couple of other things. She reached out for some help, and I always help kids for free, so I was like, yeah, let's set up a time to do so. She said he's a little bit on the spectrum and he might not want to talk, and I said that's fine. He can be in the room and he can talk if he wants to, or he could not talk if he wants to. It's totally up to him. So I introduced myself to him, and he was playing a video game, which is totally fine. And I talked to him about like what video games he likes, and he's a fan of Minecraft and Roblox, and I asked him if he watched any TikToks, and he does sometimes on YouTube, just like my 7-year-old. Then we got started. So I asked him, does he see the monsters all day long or just at night? He said just at night. And I said, what do they look like? He said scary. And I said, yeah, I mean, I get that, but like, are they tall? Are they short? Like, what's up with it? Do they have like what color eyes? Do they have horns? Do they have wings? And then he described them all to me. And I said, are they always the same, or do some of them change? And he said some are the same and some change. And I said, are they nice or mean? Like, what do they say to you? And he says, like, they say stuff like they're going to eat me. And I said, okay. Do all of them say that or some of them? He said, some of them. And I went, okay. So this is what I think is going on. Some of them are there, have always been with you, right? You said they've always been with you. And then the other ones are pretending to be those ones, but they're not so great. And then I explained to Kacie how energy of fear can manifest and copy what those things look like to scare. Next thing I did is I asked Travis if he's ever talked to Google or Siri or Alexa. And he had before he knew the concept of it. And I said, okay, well, we're going to do that, but we're going to talk to the universe or to spirit. What do you feel comfortable saying? Do you want to talk to big Travis, like higher Travis? Do you have like a superhero you want to talk to? Do you want to talk to like, and he was fine with talking to spirit. And I was like, cool. So we're going to say spirit. And the next step that we're going to do is we're going to like clean the house out. And I'm like, you know, those like trap doors behind, bookshelves where you don't know they're there, but they're there. what we're going to do is we're going to lock the ones that don't belong, and then we're going to open up the ones for the ones needed. And he was like, oh, okay. Like, he got that concept completely. So then I had him repeat after me, but catered the vocabulary down to 7-year-old vocabulary. Like, instead of rightful owner, I said back to who it belongs. After Travis followed me through the steps, asked him how he was feeling. He felt good. And I was like, okay, so now your pathways that lead to, like, when you sleep, because his mom said that he was having, like, issues with the wetting the bed thing, which is totally fine. And I explained to her what this is, just based off of my own personal experience with my kids and everything. So kids, when they leave their body at night, they're not tethered in a way that they are understanding that their body needs to go to the bathroom kind of thing. So some of it might just be that Travis is working while he's sleeping and he's not able to, like, get his human to wake up so he can go to the bathroom. That's part of it. Another part is he's scared. So if he wakes up, he doesn't want to get up in the middle of the night because those creepy things are there. And the third part of it is, again, based on personal experience. Whenever I have a really deep healing thing that I do at night, like if I'm doing spiritual surgery that lasts like all night long kind of thing, where I have to go to sleep to do it because it's so intense, or like a massive collective healing kind of thing, like on weather or something, it has been in the past. That's another story. But when I do this, my 2-year-old who sleeps in the bed with me will have their diaper leak. Not a lot, but a little bit. And what that does is it forces me to change the sheets, wash the sheets, and wash the bed. It's an energy thing that manifests in the physical to make sure that we energetically clean our space off. So if Travis is doing spiritual work while he's sleeping, it's probably intense stuff, and it's making it to where we have to change the bed in the morning. Next, we needed to get him feeling safe and secure with shielding and guardian step, which is getting him with his shielding and his guardians. So I had him repeat after me to activate his shielding and his guardians, and I asked him what his guardians look like, and he said they look like Roblox characters, and I said, that's correct. My spirit guide, like my guardians look like Transformers. Everybody's guardians look different. His look like Roblox guys. That's 100% accurate. Then the next part's really cool. Since Travis repeated after me, and he has those steps now of how to clean the house, he now has a phrase he can use for his healing, like an F3 keyboard. So we set it up. And it's either we use Travis's house cleaning, but it can be Travis's monster removal also. Like, whatever's easy for him to remember, it's his healing. And I had him do it to his pathways, which are his astral travel tubes. He cleaned up his astral travel tubes, which is where he leaves to go to sleep. He's like, so now they can't get me while I'm sleeping. I'm like, yep, 100%. It's like, it's done. And then I told him how I worked with an older woman, just like me, who activated her divine shielding on her pathways, and it was Minecraft blocks that went up. I said, so it's not like, even adults have that same kind of shielding. And he understood it, and he was like, oh, okay, that's cool. So I told him the phrase to activate his shielding and his guardians anytime he needs to, and then that his pathways to the dream realms are safe now, and his way back home and all of it is safe now. And asked him if he could feel that his house was clean, and he said yes. And then his mom said, yeah, I feel it too. And then I got off the phone with them. And I asked my 7-year-old, Jade, who can tune into all of that, what she saw the guides looking like, what she saw the imposters looking like, what she saw, all of it, and it matched up 100%. So I made note to tell her, like, try not to make a big deal about it. He has his own tools. He's in control. Act like we didn't even talk. Unless he's scared again, and then you can remind him, hey, you've got these phrases to say. But other than that, leave it alone. Because he knows he's done it, so if we make a big deal about it, he'll like second guess himself, or like, I thought I did it. You know what I mean? So let him be in control of this, let him mess around with it. And also make note that he is a kid. And sometimes my kids, even though they know how to shield and protect themselves, like to be the one that is protected by the adult. And sometimes the shields will go away and stuff, just because they want to be a little bit of a victim, and that's okay because they're kids. And then you calmly help them and then remind them to say the phrase, and then they're in control of it and they have their own phrase. And I told him this phrase is his. He can use it at school, or checked up on them this morning, and this was the results. I was so happy to read this that I teared up. I was just so excited. For me, the kids are the easiest to work with because the way that they see things and make sense is actually what I do. Like, when I say things are like a video game, when I say things are really simple, it's so simple you guys would, like, not believe it. This is what I'm talking about. It's, like, really, really simple, and then they get it and they apply it. Just like that. Now, we did carry on the conversation throughout the morning, and she let me know that he was a little upset that his walls got knocked down. And so I told her to tell him, like, people will knock into them because they don't see them, and they'll knock down, but they're like Minecraft blocks. So lock them into place. Every time you rebuild, they get stronger. If the walls ever get stuck, you can borrow my wrecking. The reason I'm sharing this is it's very easy for us as adults, even spiritual adults or witchy adults or whatever the case may be, we get overwhelmed. Because not only are we helping our children with their trauma, but we're helping ourselves clear our own trauma and then throw that on the mix, and it's like a lot of pressure on us. The phrases to clean the house are in the link in my bio. You can walk your kid through saying them and repeating after you and explaining things in a way that they get it. Put them in control. Put them in the driver's seat of their lives. I can't tell you how many times that I'm on the phone with an adult and I take them back to the point in their childhood where they need these tools and help them give their childhood self these tools so to help them with their adult now. We got this, guys. Together, we can make sense of it all and put everything where it belongs. I'm any grandma, but instead of grandma, can we call me Nana? Why? I don't know. I'm just more comfortable with Nana. Sure, I don't see why not. Oh, can we call me Goose, since you used to call me Mother Goose? Oh yeah, is that what you're comfortable with? Yeah, I've always wanted to be called something different, you know? Goose. Yeah, that sounds fun. 12 years later. Hi, I know you've known me by, one name all my life, but I'd really like it if you guys would call me by my new name, Lapis. It's just what I feel comfortable in, it's what I feel secure in. I just really prefer it. What?
Absolutely not. I am your father, I will not.
Morning. That's a pretty simple explanation. When my 13-year-old was younger, I was really big on not cussing in front of my kids, and I really was big on making sure that they didn't watch like certain things that rotted their brain. Like, I wanted everything to be educational. I was also big on only having like sugars and sweets on the weekends. But as I disconnected from societal normatives and what other people decide is right or wrong for me or for my children, I've become really free, really stress-free. And I've also realized that my children know whether to use whatever language they want around people who are still in the societal normatives, because adults have a stick up their ass and want to get kids in trouble for no fucking reason. Like, there's nothing wrong with using whatever language you want. They also know they live in a society where adults are full of shit. I have a co-parenting series. It's in my playlist, Help Your Child Heal. It's these 4 right here. 1, 2, 3. You can't see my hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there. I'm going to link the playlist at the bottom, okay? Okay?
Sure. And showed what it's like to get 2 children out of the house.
This used to be me. And now it's extremely effortless. So I'm trying to think of how exactly I got there. Because, I mean, like, this was me just a couple years ago. I would listen to key words that I would say. Like, I would say the lack of respect. And then I'd go, okay, why am I feeling lack of respect? And then I'd go look at the life connected to respect that I needed to heal. And then that was taken from my vocabulary, and I didn't feel like they were disrespecting me anymore. Then there was caring about stuff that really didn't matter. And I would, instead of like, they'd ask me something and I'd say no. And then I would think about it and go, why not? Why not? Why is my automatic response no? To be quite honest, as human beings, those little fuckers, my kids, are responsible for their own shit. And if they don't have it, if they don't have their shit and they get in trouble for it, that's on them, bro. My third grader, who's supposed to do homework every single night, if I was to sit down with her for the 15 minutes that her teacher wants me to sit down with her, it would end up in 3 hours of yelling and upset, the 13-year-old having to take care of my baby. It would be a mess. It's more impactful for my child's well-being and for my health and my happiness and my peace for that kid to go outside and play when they get home from school for hours. And the teacher's like, give her incentive, give her a candy bar, or tell her she can't go outside if she doesn't do her homework. And I said, fuck that. It's better on a whole for her to do that. And I'm sorry, but your curriculum in 3rd grade is not my priority. My health and happiness of my home is. I let them wear whatever they want, do their hair however they want. I respect their pronouns. They change their name, I change their name with them. Finding ways to not give a fuck. God, it's so much better over here on this side of it. My kids don't want to hang up clothes. They don't want to fold them either, so I bought them boxes for them to shove that shit in there. I don't give a fuck. They don't care about wrinkles. Fuck it. Ask them ahead of time. Are you guys hungry tonight? Do you want me to cook something, eat leftovers, snacks, or order something? I ask them how they want to be woken up. I give them the type of sleep they want to go to sleep to. Meditation, a book, a hug, nothing. I don't give a fuck. And they're thriving. So am I. Hey, so I have a TikTok playlist. It's called Healing Your Current. It's located here. It's on the playlist tabs above my videos, underneath my bio. It's made more for steps of people to go back on their timeline and heal the things, but you can use that with your child really, really, really easily. I actually walk my kids through stuff like this all the time. Even my 2-year-old, I energetically feel when they're cleaning stuff out. So my friend Kate got me a Roomba, and the robot scared my 3-year-old. Did I say 2-year-old? My 3-year-old. That was weird. So she was freaking out and she was scared, and I was like, hey, I want you to go to the life with the robots. And then I felt her go, and I said, okay, now apply your house cleanse. Now activate your divine shielding and guardians. Now activate your divine, I did all the steps, and she was able to follow along. This playlist in that tab. I literally, my kids are 5 years apart from each other, and they even shared a room at one point in time. And if they pulled any of that, like, so-and-so did this or so-and-so did that, I'd be like, I'm not a fucking referee. If they're like, oh, this one hit me, I'd be like, well, what the fuck did you do to them that caused them to hit you? It's a cause and effect situation. Were you just existing? Well, if you were just existing, what did you do yesterday? What did you do the day before? I'm like, if you're going to come to me, expect some kind of fucking therapy session. Otherwise, leave me the fuck alone. What y'all do is none of my damn business. Shit. That's how I handle shit. I give them all the tools in the toolbox, but if the motherfucker wants to use a screwdriver to nail a picture in the wall instead of a fucking hammer, then I don't fucking know what to tell you, bro. That's your life. You do. Amethyst. Do you for real not want to be in the video?
Yeah.
What would you do if I sprinkled sugar on you? Yeah. So I'm just letting you know right now. Don't fucking do it.
Nope.
Don't fucking do it, man. Like, no. They will caramelize that shit and throw it back at you like shards of glass in your eye.
I can just throw shoes at them. I have spiky high heels.
They said I would just throw a shoe at them. I have spiky high heels. Yeah. So what I do with Amethyst, this chaotic little thing right here, is have them pull all the negativity, which you would consider negativity is anything, like if you're more of the masculine, light, positive aspects, the negative is just the other end of the battery and it needs it to exist. Like they need the chaos, they need the drama. So make it a controlled experiment, make it a controlled situation. So you're going to want to say, spirit, if it's in their highest good and their soul consents, it'd be better if you teach them how to do it. But spirit, if it's in their highest good and their soul consents, please pull down all of the poisons, toxins, sickness, and what you would call negativity into their lowest dimensional form that eats it for fuel for them. Also, I've learned to appreciate when my kid is aggravating the fuck out of me. They're literally generating all that toxins and stuff like a blackhead remover out of my pores for them to eat. So when they're pushing at me to explode, it's so they can eat that chaos. Like I don't know, we all work together. And then like after they do that, then they need, to regenerate for their own self. They need some cuddles and love. Every once in a while, they need some light, just like we need dark. It just is what it is. Hope that helps. Okay, bye. When my 13-year-old was younger, I was a different kind of mom, and I yelled a lot. And I didn't want to yell anymore. So I tried coping mechanisms and redirection tactics in order to not yell anymore. Like I tried cold turkey. I tried redirecting my anger towards something, something more effective or whatever. But the thing that worked for me was healing the issue that made me yell. In order to do that, I had to go back to my inner child or to my past life to heal, to figure out what it was that was triggering me to anger. Once I healed that, I just no longer yelled anymore because it didn't push at my energy buttons of trauma. Another example of this, I used to I've used this example before, like in 2017, this person was passive aggressive and it would annoy the fuck out of me. And this person was passive aggressive and it would annoy the fuck out of me. And this person was passive aggressive and it would annoy the fuck out of me. So I can either go, I fucking hate passive aggressive people. Or what I did is, Spirit, please show me the root trauma life of why. Or Spirit, please show me the most effective, most impactful point I can heal about why I have issues with people being passive aggressive. And it took me back to a past life, and I saw a situation, and I healed the trauma wound so that it doesn't happen, and I pushed it forward into my now moment. Now my now self doesn't even notice if someone's being passive aggressive. Like it doesn't jerk my attention to it. I just don't care about it. It's healed. It's gone. It doesn't bother me. You can also look, since all time is now, you can look at future versions of you on your current timeline. And you can see, okay, future me is doing this, A, B, C, whatever. Future me is doing this. What can I heal in my current moment so that I'm no longer doing that in the future? Because that doesn't sound like the most healed version of me. So then I heal it now. If I heal it now, well, future me timeline is fixed. It's healed. It's better. So if we're constantly healing our now moment, if all time is now, healing past heals the now, which heals our future. So you're no longer just coping. You actually are just living and enjoying with no trauma trigger responses. Hope that helps.
I said I'm living life on being. I'll keep my distance. Look one way, you'll miss it.
I'm big on soul's consent, but not everybody is, and you really don't need to be. It's just how I roll. Like, that's just what I do, but you know that. We've known each other for a while now. In order to help feed their chaos, but keep yourself protected because you need peace because you're more light and they need chaos because they're more dark, doesn't mean they necessarily need drama. Drama's a last resort. If they can't get the chaos that they need. Okay, so like with my 8-year-old, I have them say, Spirit, please pull out this, like if they stub their toe, please pull out this infection and feed it to my most potent form of me. and then it banks that energy back into them, and it doesn't like transmute it outside of themselves or like put light into it. So I'll write that there. Hey bitch, you look cute. Oh, you go by Lapis now? Oh, hey Lapis. Okay, everybody make notes. It goes by Lapis now. Okay. Put that in here. They can get it when they're ready. Where the fuck is the Lapis put away the dishes? Think like Lapis. Oh, there it is. Y'all bitches are annoying the fuck out of me. Y'all need to figure your shit out. You're both being assholes. Your stomach hurts? Did you put your hand over your solar plexus to see if it was yours or somebody else's? Do that first. Put your shields down and let me fucking heal you. What's that? Moana again? Okay. What do you mean you want to watch Coraline? I just put Moana in. I'm aggravated, so I'm singing. No, I don't get any of that. I never have, actually. Maybe it's because if it's not endangering them, I pretty much let them do whatever. So maybe the older kid's dad gets that. Like, come on, mom, let's just do this. But they know that they can't play us against each other. At least they can't play anybody against me. Even with each other, they don't do the whole, like, so-and-so hit me. Because I'm like, well, maybe you shouldn't have been an asshole to them. I don't play referee. So, if they go, well, you know, if they were to ever say, well, dad lets me do this or whatever, I'd be like, cool. Sweet. What's that got to do with me? Oh, you know what I mean? I don't know. That's just kind of how I see things. Video a few months back about having a darker energy child, my 8-year-old Amethyst. They are more of the feminine dark. That means they need chaos and drama to survive. As I'm more of a light being, so I need calm and peace to survive. So they push my buttons quite a bit, and a lot of you mentioned that you had dark children as well. In that video, I was talking about, and I'm going to link the playlist to the bottom here, about raising magical kids. But in that video, I talked about creating a dark jar for them to hold it in and then drink the jar, the contents of the jar. But I found a faster, more effective way, and it's like an internal piggy bank. So as you have an upper dimensional form and a lower dimensional form and all the spaces in between, that's another topic. This little phrase here works wonders. And if you're a darker person, this can help you with infections and pain and things as well. This comment actually means a lot to me. I get ridiculed for being a parent on here because of my fucking Spaces Ocean video and my babies in that video, and people are like, oh my God, she's she's making more humans. The world is coming to an end. This is why humanity is horrible. Which I thought I had healed all that, but apparently this comment is making me realize I have not. So I need to look more into that, because it is hurtful. Thank you. Thank you for this. I will say that my 13-year-old, who goes by the name Kris, they have a different set of trauma. There's trauma no matter what. Like, being human is painful. So even if you have a loving environment where the parent respects the way you dress or your pronouns or doesn't put pressure on you about food or chores or any of that shit, now they have a different trauma. They have nothing to relate to their friends about because their friends have asshole parents and all sorts of. So my 13-year-old has a whole new set of fucking trauma, which is not being able to relate to their friends at all. So feeling completely ostracized from it. But at least we're aware of it and we're able to work through it, and that's cool. And they also have the safe space to, like, not fucking work through that if they want to just fucking be a kid and not fucking work through it. But it is there. It's there.
Also, the 8-year-old has their own unique set of trauma. They like chaos. They are very dark energy. And my home is very peaceful and loving, so it makes them explode in a need for chaos, a need for destruction. So both of my kids need chaos in their life a little bit, and they don't have it. And so it creates a unique little bubble of trauma for them that not many people have, but it's fucking there, man. Being human is funny. But thank you for this. And thank you for drawing my attention to my older series. Thank you for finding comfort in me when you can't get sleep and you need a little bit of help or understanding. It's been cool getting to know you through the comments. It's been cool. Something that bothers me, that happens quite a bit, when people can't remember their childhood or bits and pieces of their childhood, they are told, oh my God, you must have suffered some horrible trauma that you've blocked it out. And the reason that I hate this is because sometimes that's true. Majority of the time, it's not. It's not true. Hardly anybody can remember their childhood. I have a very good memory of my childhood. My kids have a very good memory of their childhood. And my friend Kate has a very good memory of their childhood. And I was trying to figure this out because my 13-year-old has been through some fucking horrible trauma. Yeah. But they remember their childhood. And I believe it's because as a parent, and as my mom was a parent, we retold stories. Retold memories. We have inside jokes. We have conversations. We talk a lot. And Kate said they experienced the same thing with their mom. If you want your children to remember their stories, it's not too late. If you want your children to remember their lives, it's not too late. Start telling them memories from when they were a child. Relive those memories over and over again. And you're reliving those moments just as if they happened. And you won't have so many blank spots. Give it a try. Give it a try. Also, I don't like that people automatically just assume it was a horrible traumatic event that you can't remember, because then you start painting your like family friends or uncles or dads or aunts or cousins in a really horrible light because you're like convinced they must have done something horrible to you. And that's not really usually the case. It does still happen. It does. But that's sometimes you just don't remember your childhood because you didn't have someone telling you stories about your childhood. So yeah, there's that. Okay, bye. I was telling my friend Shaden a story about my 8-year-old when my 8-year-old was 3. 2. They were 2 at the time, I believe. So my 8-year-old, who goes by the name Amethyst, was born with all of their gifts wide open. I had to remember my gifts. I had to remember who I was and what I'm capable of. They did not. I mean, like, they used to talk to ghosts, demons, angels, fairies, everything, you name it, monsters, all the time. Like, they saw them as clear as the movie The Sixth Sense. And it actually helped me awaken on my spiritual journey quite a bit. Well, this one time, the cat was playing with the lizard and it like ripped it open. It was mangled. It was bad. And I looked at Amethyst and I asked them, like, can you make the lizard feel better? Can you put your hands over the lizard and like heal the lizard? I just asked them if they could. The lizard came back to life. It was no longer mangled, and it walked away. I am now a spiritual surgeon and I do this kind of work as well. But, yeah. I saw it with my 2 eyes and I was like, excuse me, what? I later found out that they are a soul fragment of Anubis. Many people are. Many people are. But yeah, they have necromancy abilities. And I had to wake up and figure out my spiritual journey like really fucking fast, because that kid would astral project and like invade people's dreams and all sorts of stuff. Yeah. Anyway, I remember that story today and I wanted to share it. Okay, bye. The way I feel about this is kind of the way I feel about anything. As your parent, you can do whatever you want. Anybody can do whatever they want to anybody, for anybody, against anybody. I personally ask my kids if they want this kind of thing, but that's the relationship I have with them. I wouldn't want anybody to pray over me or do anything for me. And if you're not sure, you don't feel comfortable asking your kids about this specifically, then you can do if their soul consents, and that way it's still kind of whether they want it or not. But again, you're the fucking parent, so you do you. That's just what I would do personally. No. See, no consent to be on camera. Okay, bye. 13-year-old just texted me. I had an anxiety attack. The bus was running late. Energy of the school wasn't good. I'm energetically merged with them right now. Their bus is there and they're getting on right now. Spirits in the highest good and all souls consent. Please do cat's house cleanse to this bus. Please activate the bus's divine shielding and guardians, eco-suit and exosuit. There's a lot of energy at a school, from past, from present, from people, from their trauma, from expectations, from the school board, from the county, from the state, from the country. There's a lot of political agendas, rights agendas, gender agendas. There's a lot in the schools. When your kid is not doing well, you can ask to connect to them energetically and calm them down. You can send your house cleanse that's pinned at the top of my screen, or at the top of my videos. Create your own house cleanse, send it to the schools, send it to the office, send it to the stores. You can always say, for whoever soul consents to receive it as well, or just send it to the energy of the building. You don't have to touch a person. You don't have to put your beliefs on anybody. But you're not helpless. You can help your kids. You can be with them, even if you can't physically be with them. You can be with them. Spirit, please disconnect me from Kris. Cleanse and purify them. Send them back. Cleanse and purify me. Bring me back. So I'm going to tag a playlist at the bottom of this, or if you go to my, it's going to be like at the very bottom, like right here, I think is where they put it now. Some versions might have it like here in yellow. I digress. But it's a playlist. It's a playlist TikTok, or TikTok playlist. It's above my videos, underneath my bio. And I've got an entire tab dedicated to raising magical children, just based on my own perspective and based on how I help others heal. I do help children for free. It would not be in my regular sessions time. I would make time for it. But if you wanted help from me to walk your child through something, I'd want you on the phone. I do prefer it come from you though, and I hope that I can give you some help and some tips in order for you and her to continue to grow this relationship that you're already doing a fucking fantastic job with. They seem to really understand themselves and know themselves, and this was your comment's part of a 3-part comment series. So it doesn't show how much you're actually pretty in tune with what's going on with them. I'm thinking that you just needed a little bit of like you're doing great kind of thing. But I'm going to go ahead and put it in that playlist for you anyway, and let you know that my now 8-year-old, when they were like first born, 2 to 3, that like I had to figure shit out real fast because they could hear it, see it, feel it, touch it, feel it, stomp-o-matic. Sorry. Yeah, I've already said it, so I'm gonna go ahead and tag the playlist. Okay, bye. I have 3 kids and I'm a single mom. So the first thing that I do is take care of myself. And then I'm able to take care of others, right? So that's like put the airplane mask on yourself before you put the airplane mask on them. Well, I have one kid, my 8-year-old, who is more of a dark energy, and the other 3 of us are light energies. But there's no good and there's no bad. So basically, no matter how good I am inside myself, no matter how much I heal inside my trauma, no matter how much work I do for myself and how much I do to better myself, and like I respect pronouns and I let them do their own thing and I have enough structure and all the things, my 8-year-old will fucking push me and push me and push me until I explode. Because like the people who have the darker energies, the heavier energies, they need explosions in their life for survival. So what we have done is my 8-year-old, whose name is Amethyst, that's what they go by right now, is they have made like almost like a death jar, like a jar that whenever I get aggravated at them, I can just put that energy in the jar and they can eat it. Like they absorb the energy. So like maybe have your kids, I'm just saying, have them draw or create a jar for aggression and anger. And before you explode, or if you feel like they're pulling and draining you, take your energy, that energy of chaos, and put it in their jars. Try it. It works for us. Because even though my 8-year-old loves playing and getting along and the peacefulness of everything, they need the chaos to survive. Just like I need peace. Chaos is destructive for me. Peace is too much peace for them is destructive. They need chaos. This was a great alternative. Let me know how it goes. Yes and no. They actually are the ones that helped me awaken. They're the ones that taught me. But I'm very respectful of the fact that they might choose a religion. They might be a practicing witch instead of a spiritualist. They might throw the whole thing away and just choose to be human. Like, whatever they do. They have healings available out there. All 3 of them have healings out there. My 8-year-old and my 13-year-old both have 2 healings each available, and I'll put those on the screen. And then my 3-year-old has a healing as well. So they are able to do tons of stuff. Children really can. They could do a lot more, and it's pretty amazing. But I always tell them, like, if they decide to join a religion that celebrates every Tuesday by dancing in the woods with blue aliens and eat ice cream every Tuesday, then I'll just join them and support them. Oh, speaking of ice cream, hey, thanks, Kacie Ray. It's delicious. I don't want to, shut them off from it, but I also want to be respectful of the fact and never like push it on them. That's kind of how I feel about it.
I do have a series, a playlist about raising spiritual children and also how to help your children if you are more spiritual and they need help in spiritual ways. I've got playlists on that as well. So yeah, thanks for the question.
I'm a boss, I'm a bitch and a boss, I'ma shine like cross, I'm a bitch, I'm a boss, I'm a bitch and a this on Monday, wear this on Tuesday, wear this on Wednesday, wear this on Thursday, wear this on Friday, wear this on Saturday, wear this on
Hold it down like a Snapchat, go over your head like a snapback, uploaded a pic, double tap that, and your flow so old, granddad. It's just banter. I'm way too much like a black cap. Why you Snapchatting in the club for? Just dance, man. Like yo fam alam, yo fam alam. Ain't no girl better than. I'm on the roads, caravan. Let me do this fast, Ramadan. Cause it's going down, avalanche. I'ma keep it short, paragraph. Queen Leisha, my reign, and a rap. Take it off Israel, Nazareth. Oh Jesus, oh Lord, oh Jesus. A couple of snaky friends, just Adam and Eve us. And there's no debate on who's better. Come on. I'll turn a man to a girl like Bruce Jenner. Shout down the dance like me rock down the dance like I be the one they love, I be the don. They know where I'm from. 01 to the 21. Yo brethren, where are you?
my bed, my bed, my bed, my bed. You need to get rid of this mark. You just want to see a nigga backwards, don't you?
Read corduroy. Corduroy. Corduroy is a bear who once lived in the toy department of a big store. Day after day, he waited with all the other animals and dolls for somebody to come along and take him home. The store was always filled with shoppers buying all sorts of things, but no one ever seemed to want a small bear in green overalls. Then one morning, a little girl stopped and looked straight into Corduroy's bright eyes. "Oh, Mommy," she said. "Yes, I see the toys. Look, there's the very bear I've always wanted." "Not today, dear," her mother sighed. "I've spent too much already. Besides, he doesn't look new. He's lost a button to one of his shoulder straps." Corduroy watched them sadly as they walked away. "I didn't know I'd lost a button," he said to himself. "Tonight I'll go and see if I can find it." Later that evening, when all the shoppers had gone and the doors were shut and locked, Corduroy climbed carefully down from his shelf and began searching everywhere on the floor for his lost button. He was sleeping? Oh, the bunny rabbit is. Suddenly, he felt the floor moving under him. Quite by accident, he had stepped onto an escalator, and up he went. He's going upstairs, baby. He's going up an escalator. Could this be a mountain? He wondered. I think I've always wanted to climb a mountain. He stepped off the escalator and he reached the next floor, and there before his eyes was the most amazing sight. Chairs and lamps and sofas and rows of bed. This must be a palace, Corduroy gasped. I've always wanted to live in a palace. He wandered around admiring the furniture. This must be a bed, he said. I've always wanted to sleep in a bed, and up he crawled onto a large, thick mattress. All at once he saw something small and round. Why, here's my button, he cried, and he tried to pick it up, but like all the other buttons on the mattress, it was tied down tight. He yanked and pulled with both paws till pop! Off came the button, and off the mattress Corduroy toppled. Bang! Into a tall floor lamp. Over it fell with a crash.
Corduroy didn't know it, but there was someone else awake in the store. The night watchman was going his rounds on the floor above when he heard the crash came dashing down the escalator. "Now who in the world did that?" he exclaimed. "Somebody must be hiding around here." He flashed his light under and over sofas and beds until he came to the biggest bed of all, and there he saw two fuzzy brown ears sticking up from under the covers. "Hello," he said. "How did you get upstairs?"
Bored in the house and I'm in the house, bored. Bored in the house and I'm in the house, bored. Bored in the motherfucking